Hello everyone, welcome again to the channel. Today I want to discuss with you this recent news in relation to the Ukrainian conflict. The first one says Ukraine hopes to get submarines from Germany. Modern weapons and speedy decisions are key to common victory over Russia. That comes from the chairman of the Ukrainian parliament. And this is the guy here in the photo to the left. His name is Ruslan Stefanchuk, and he said Berlin might provide Kiev with submarines. The Ukrainian parliament's chairman Roland Stefanchuk claimed during a visit to Germany amid the ongoing Russian military operation in this country. And he said the supply of the most modern equipment to Ukraine and speedy decision making on the matter will bring common victory over Russia closer. Also, he talked about this thing about the Iris-T surface-to-air missile systems, which he claims will be promptly delivered to Ukraine. I didn't cover this specific topic, but I think you can find this in the news that already Germany said they don't have these systems. So if Ukraine wants them, they will need to order them directly from German weapons manufacturer, and it will take a few years to get them ready to be delivered. So this is not what I will call prompt delivery. And then he says in this part, I do not rule out receiving submarines from Germany because we are ready to become the eastern defense frontier for the whole of Europe. And let's take a look here. Oh yeah, this part here says Stefanchuk reiterated that Kiev needs modern weapons first and foremost. We can also fight with old weapons from old stocks, but new weapons are more effective. And then he mentioned some other things, that they were interested in armored vehicles, Leopard tanks, and it goes on and on to some other equipment. But I am going to reiterate what I already mentioned in previous videos. So the main thing about all these weapon systems is Ukrainian military needs people to operate these weapon systems. So these soldiers need training, and they need very capable people to do this, and this training takes years. The more complex the system, the more training soldier needs. So creating a crew for any of these systems will be absolutely overwhelmingly long. It will take years and years to recruit people that will have, the ability to operate, for example, the Iris-T, which is not even available yet. Any new vehicles they deliver, they will need several weeks to get trained. The vehicles themselves, they will need to be delivered and then shipped to the Ukraine. That will take a long time. And like I was saying in a previous video, time is something Ukraine doesn't have. And also these all these systems cannot operate in isolation. So I will get back to that in a few moments, but I wanted to bring your attention to this specific issue about the submarines, which in my opinion is just fantasy. It won't happen. It won't happen at all. Let me take a look at here about, this is a website that mentions Germany's submarine capabilities, and pay attention to this. Says the German Navy currently operates a flotilla of 6 new hybrid diesel electric fuel cell submarines. So that's how many submarines Germany has of this particular type. And total submarines in the fleet. So if Germany has 6 submarines, they're going to give one to Ukraine. It's just kind of rhetorical question. I don't think they will do it. But even if they did that, let's take a look here. This is the Russian fleet in the Black Sea. Now, the Russian fleet has 20 warships, including submarines, and the Russian Black Sea fleet has 6 submarines. Here it says. So let's suppose they actually give them 1 submarine. That's as much as I think, because the guy mentioned submarines, like more than 1. I can't imagine how Germany will accomplish any of that. Let's suppose Germany gives them all 6 submarines. They still need to ship these submarines somehow, drive them over the sea from Germany all the way to the Black Sea. And we have several logistical issues here. One of them is that submarines are big, so they can be spotted from satellite. So if the Germans were to do that, Russian satellites will take notice of this and they will track them. And apart from that, when they reach the Straits of Turkey, Turkey might not let them pass. That will be the happy case scenario. If Turkey says, okay, you cannot pass because this is an active war theater, and there is a treaty which recently Turkey enforced and said no military ships are coming into the active theater. So these submarines will not be allowed. But let's suppose for some political issue or reasoning, Turkey will allow these submarines to pass through. Then they have waiting for them the entire Black Sea fleet, Russian Black Sea fleet, waiting for them, just ready to destroy them. And what is the point? The whole thing is recipe for disaster. I'm sorry to say that, because people think that some kind of advanced weapon will make some kind of change or in the course of the war, and it won't. Here comes another piece of information. Says U.S. general wants fighter jets sent to Ukraine. Is the same thing, only different piece of weaponry. How many fighter jets they're going to send? How many? And the whole thing is coordinated. Now the entire army needs to be coordinated. They cannot act in isolation. This is like mathematics, really. Mathematics is involved in war simulation. If people here in the audience are familiar with games can be very detailed, and they can really do very good work in simulating battles. A lot of people are very fond of this kind of games, and games really run with mathematics. You have certain capabilities, certain strength for specific units, certain resistance, distance they can travel, this the more complex games, they include parameters such as morale, attrition, even resistance from people to war, So all these things can be modeled together, and if you put all these things together, what you have is a set of equations that will give you the odds of an army defeating another just by numbers. And on top of that, you mount the human factor, which can be used to provide certain tactics, certain strategies, and let's say you put all the current equipment that Ukraine has and put it in one of these war game simulations, and you enter all items, how many soldiers there are, the kind of equipment, the number of units, all the parameters necessary for this, and then you enter the Russian side. So you have two sides, and you put this. Let's say that it is possible to enter this as accurately as possible. Then you will get the odds of this battle, and the odds will be, sharply against Ukraine. So it is highly unlikely that any of these items alone will, change the odds. And as much as people would like to believe, the world is ruled by mathematics. The world is ruled by mathematics, and no matter how much you want to play it, there's only certain things that a human can do. Winning against overwhelming odds is highly unlikely. I'm just talking about statistics, probability. So people should not be deceived by these kind of things. They are just political postures. They are trying to do some kind of propaganda, and in my opinion, they are very, very dishonest, because they are trying to give people false hopes. False hopes is the least that people needs right now. Never a false hope is good, but especially in this moment. And I don't know if these politicians are aware of these things, but I'm sure they have advisors, even if they're not aware of them. So a very capable advisor should be able to tell them what are the odds of this changing the course of the war, and they should be aware that there is no way. Like I made recently a video talking about the HIMARS, the MLRS systems. And there was an interesting comment from a person who claimed to have worked with these kind of systems in a war theater. And he was making a very interesting point that these systems are very capable, but not in the numbers that they are being supplied. And like I was saying, this needs to be considered as a whole, like a systems, integrated systems. They cannot just operate in a vacuum. They need soldiers, capable soldiers, training, and supplies, logistics, all kinds of things that people don't consider when they just think, oh, this amazing new weapon is going to be supplied to Ukraine. Now they are really going to defeat the Russians. So I already made another video where it was patently evident that the West doesn't want Ukraine to win the war. And this is evidently from the weapon deliveries and even the statements that they make publicly. So this is not my speculation. You can go out and check those videos in my channel. So that's my opinion. I can see no changes, no game changers here, and so as far as the war goes, the war has already a tendency. This is also a trend if you are going to talk about probability. So once the trend is established, will continue its course until the war ends, and the current trend points in the direction of blatantly big defeat for the Ukrainian army. And that's unless something changes the trend. Changing a trend, if you ever studied mathematics and probability, you will know that changing a trend requires a big number of resources to change the equation, and reverse the trend will be taking even higher resources, which we're not seeing. So let's not fool yourselves about this matter. That's my opinion, and let me know what you think about it. And as always, I ask you to like the video, share the video on social media, and subscribe to the channel. I hope to see you again very soon. Thank you for watching.